I had always thought I knew what traveling gifts looked like. In the United States, souvenirs are straightforward tiny keychains, fridge magnets, a mug with a cheesy slogan. They're small, easy to carry, and, let's be honest, mostly forgotten in a drawer by the time you get home. So when I packed for my first trip to the Philippines, I assumed gifts would be similar. Just some small trinkets for friends and family back home. Little did I know I was about to experience the absolute shock of my life, and it all started with the first pasalubong. I landed in Manila on a humid morning, my blonde hair frizzing faster than I could brush it down, and my American accent apparently screamed, "I am foreign and will probably need help with directions," which I did. But that wasn't the shocking part. No, the real cultural explosion hit me when I went to my friend Liza's house on my second day. She had just returned from her province, and as soon as I stepped in, she smirked at me and said, "You brought gifts for me, right?" I laughed nervously because, of course, I had a small keychain from a tourist shop in Manila, a little metal jeepney that I thought was adorable. Liza's reaction? Her eyes widened in a way that screamed both horror and amusement. She gently shook her head and said, "Oh, honey, that's cute." Cute? I had no idea that cute in the Filipino sense meant, "You are about to look very silly in front of me." Then she opened the doorbell of her own pasalubong. Boxes. I mean, stacks of 14 beautifully wrapped boxes. Yes, 14. I nearly fainted. Inside them were snacks, shirts, dried fish, shampoo, candies, local delicacies, even a small jar of homemade peanut butter from her hometown. It was like a miniature festival exploded in her living room. I, the tiny American with my single keychain, suddenly felt like a sad joke. Liza handed me a box and smiled. "This is for you," she said. I opened it slowly, trying to play it cool, but my jaw literally dropped. There was a pack of dried mangoes, a bag of crispy chicharron, a hand-woven tote bag, a local t-shirt, and a small packet of bagoong, that fermented shrimp paste that smells like, well, let's just say it smells like the Philippines itself in a jar. I stared at it and laughed nervously, my blonde hair bouncing as I said, I didn't bring anything like this." She just shook her head, laughing, and then handed me another box. I learned very quickly that pasalubong isn't just a gift. It's an experience, a statement, a declaration that you thought about someone while you were away. In America, souvenirs are often a token, maybe something funny, a memory for yourself. In the Philippines, the pasalubong is a love language. You cannot do it halfway. You do not bring one small gift and call it a day. You bring many, many gifts, each carefully selected to show you care, to represent your journey, and to make the people at home feel like they traveled with you. Over the next week, I got to experience pasalubong in full force. I went to Cebu with a friend, and when she returned home, she greeted her family with what seemed like a mountain of boxes. There were local pastries, dried fish wrapped in banana leaves, handmade bracelets, a bag of salted peanuts, some mango jam, a bottle of coconut vinegar, and even a small jar of local coffee. Her cousin opened a box and asked, "Where did you get this?" She laughed and said, "It's from Cebu." I thought of you when I saw it. I watched as every person in the room tore into the boxes like children at Christmas, laughing, smelling things, tasting things, and sharing stories. I tried to explain to my American friends what I was seeing, but the words failed me. It was chaotic, loving, overwhelming, funny, and deeply thoughtful all at once. The blonde American in me, used to neat, minimalistic gifts, was stunned. In my head, I kept saying, "This is insane. There's no way anyone can carry all this on a plane." And yet, they somehow manage. Large suitcases, extra bags, maybe a tricycle waiting outside, they bring it all home, and somehow, magically, no one is angry or overwhelmed. It's just love multiplied by snacks. I decided to try my hand at it. I traveled to Davao thinking, okay, I'll do this properly. I'll bring something meaningful for everyone back home. But here's the problem. I had no idea what meaningful was. I wandered through the market with my blonde hair practically glowing under the sun, completely out of my comfort zone, staring at dozens of dried fruits, boxes of snacks, tiny jars of local condiments, t-shirts, scarves, and strange little trinkets. Every vendor shouted at me cheerfully, "Buy for pasalubong." Best pasalubong, take-home gifts? I nodded like I knew what I was doing, but I felt like a very confused child. By the end of the day, I had 7 boxes, each carefully packed with snacks, shirts, local trinkets, and even a small bag of something called durian candy. I schlepped them back to my hostel and realized I still had another 3 cities to visit before heading home. I was learning that in the Philippines, giving pasalubong is a serious business, and the blonde American tourist might not survive the challenge without her own personal packing strategy. Then came the ultimate realization: pasalubong is also about community and relationships. In every province I visited, people didn't just receive gifts quietly. They shared them immediately. Someone would open a box of mangoes and say, "Here, try this." And suddenly the room was full of people laughing, eating, and comparing snacks. It was impossible to separate the gift from the experience of the people around it. I had never seen anything like it. In the US, you might send a gift to a friend and get a "thank you" text the next day. Here, you unwrap a box and suddenly you are immersed in a living, breathing party of taste, laughter, and storytelling. I tried to explain this to my family back in America. "It's not just a gift," I said in a Zoom call, my blonde hair in a messy bun, still smelling faintly of dried mangoes and coconut oil. "It's a cultural thing. It's like bringing a part of the province itself into someone's home." My mother looked confused and asked, "So, you just give them snacks?" I waved my hands dramatically. "It's not just snacks. It's thoughtfulness, it's connection, it's love in boxes." And that's when it hit me. American souvenirs are practical, Filipino pasalubong is emotional. One is about memory, the other is about relationship. In the US, if I bought a keychain from New York, my friend might like it, or it might sit on a shelf. In the Philippines, if I brought even one small bag of snacks, the whole neighborhood might gather around to taste, laugh, and bond over it. It's a social glue wrapped in plastic and banana leaves. I decided to push my experiment further. I asked a group of local friends, "What's the weirdest pasalubong you've ever received?" They laughed so hard, some of them crying from amusement, and started telling stories. One friend got a live chicken from our cousin in Mindoro. Another received a full bag of mud crabs still wiggling. One man told me he once got 14 packs of salted eggs and a small bamboo broom. I, the blonde American woman with a tendency to overthink gifts, was stunned. It wasn't just the generosity, it was the creativity and thought behind it. You give what makes sense for your hometown, even if it's unusual. It doesn't matter if it seems weird to outsiders, it's meaningful to those receiving it. By the time I traveled to Palawan, I was a pasalubong pro. I knew to budget extra space in my suitcase, to carry reusable shopping bags, and to expect questions, laughter, and chaos at every house I visited. I even started comparing it to American souvenirs in my head for humor. American souvenir, a keychain, maybe a postcard. Filipino pasalubong, a full sensory experience, multiple boxes, communal laughter, hugs, tears, snacks, t-shirts, dried fish, candy, local crafts, and sometimes even a live animal. Honestly, it was like leveling up in the game of travel gifting. The most memorable moment came when I visited a small town in Leyte. I had been there for only 2 days, and my host family insisted I bring something back from my family in the US. I panicked. What could possibly convey the spirit of Leyte to my parents without causing Tia Isa nightmares? I ended up packing a carefully curated box. Dried mangoes, a small woven basket, local coffee, handmade soap, and a t-shirt with a bright tropical print. I shipped it home with great trepidation and almost forgot about it. A week later, my mother called. "RK," she said, her voice filled with amazement. "What is this?" It's like a festival exploded in my living room. The kids don't know where to start. "And what is this smell?" I laughed, telling her it was dried fish and mangoes, and she just groaned and said, "Only you would send something like this." But the joy in her voice told me everything. That right there was the magic of pasalubong. Even from across the world, I had sent a piece of the Philippines home. By the end of my trip, I had completely redefined my understanding of gifts. American souvenirs were simple, clean, and functional. Filipino Pasalubong was messy, chaotic, loving, and unforgettable. It involved thought, energy, humor, and connection. And as a blonde American woman wandering the islands, watching people unwrap box after box with laughter and excitement, I felt like I had stumbled into a cultural phenomenon that no guidebook could ever teach. Every time I think back to my adventures, I can still see the piles of boxes, hear the laughter of families, smell the mix of dried mango, shrimp paste, and roasted peanuts, and feel the warmth of a community sharing joy through gifts. I learned that in the Philippines, giving isn't just about the object. It's about the love, laughter, and togetherness that comes with it. And the blonde American girl who once thought a keychain would suffice, will never forget it. I returned home with a suitcase full of memories, a heart full of gratitude, and a new respect for the power of pasalubong. American souvenirs? Cute. Filipino pasalubong. Life-changing.